All right, we're back, and this is another Pixitron. Today we're going to be working on the rest of the backend that is not game related. So I realized after watching, and I do watch my own videos, at least in the background, I listen to them while doing other things so that I can hear what I was working on and what I need to do next, because I drop comments all the time. It's actually useful because when I'm not doing a video about it, I'm just coding, and although I can remember a lot in my mind, having years of practice, I sometimes forget things. Let's take a look at user for a second. What I realized in user is that in the last episode, we added activation expiry. An activation expiry is supposed to delete things that user accounts that have been created but are not activated. This is to decrease the chance that bot traffic will populate the database with garbage. So what we're going to do is check the expiry date in a similar way to the way we did in session. So I'll just stick it at the top. Doesn't really matter what order things are placed in the model. It's all up to you. Expire expired is a fine name, and we're going to call this activation. Expires. Up here, we're going to set the activation. And we're going to set this to now plus, I don't know, 1 day. Well, we don't really need the now part, so just plus 1 day. All right. So when we go to create the user, we do want to populate this stuff now. So let's look at populating everything that we need to. Email verified should be 0. Now keep in mind we do have some default expression. We can use this, but it's actually better not to for a variety of reasons. Forgot. Or no. Yep. SU, again, the super user bit. Or I think it's switch user. I don't know. We're probably not going to use it. Generally, new users will not be admins. Twitter. Twitter can be empty. These have a not null flag? They do. But we can just populate it with something empty. The banner is, I believe, supposed to be some JSON. So we're just going to JSON encode an empty array. No ACLs. Now you could put an ACL band in here. Yeah. What that would do is make it inactivated, but let's not. You don't have to do that. Okay, metals is also a JSON. Same thing with history. Okay, activation key. Oh, a little bit of a lag there. I'm not sure what the deal is. Sometimes VPS, a little laggy. All right, we're going to do activation expires. Oh, we need this. String to time. What's it called? User activation expiry. All right, that should cover all of that. We have to generate a key. And while we're in here, we're going to do a couple of other things that I know are just kind of housekeeping, stuff we forgot to do, should do. Key is going to have to be generated. Now, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember exactly how I did that. So we have to look at auth. And if you remember, auth is a shred. Yeah, not a whatever. Not a model. So we're just going to use the same method done for the forgot expires, but we're going to do this. So that's actually cool. So what that does is it uses forgot expires to generate that key. So now back in here, we're just going to generate both of these things in advance. And instead of calling it, we're going to call it activation. We can use UN. All right. And now we'll just pass these things along. Okay, that looks good to me. So now we have to send an email, and we've talked about before how that doesn't seem to be working. All right, so I brought this in from another page on my site, and we're going to just stick in all the required stuff. So we want to send this to a user, and then this will allow us to send a message to a user with a subject, and it's got everything set up the correct way. So even though it looks like in PHP all you do is type mail and then a couple of things, you actually have to do it in this form. You would change this part because you're not me. So for the interest, we'll just do dot, and I think it's site domain name, maybe. Let me check real quick. It's domain or host. Okay. So we're gonna do dot host dot. Right. So you can set your host to whatever domain name you'd like to send it from. In fact, why don't we just make it? Well, that's fine. Okay. So why this? So from IP. Well, that's not. This is all message content. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is all message content. So you need to do an NR, I guess. I don't know. All right, let's just do message dot and then that and then subject. I don't know. Do we even need a default subject? I mean, you have to have one. Okay, so that'll send an email to a user at an email address. The problem with this email is that it's going to get captured by spam folders. So you can tell people to look in their junk mail, unless you want to pay for a mail cert for your email server. If you do that, then it'll make it through, at least on Gmail. But everything is different, right? So we're going to call this to email. That way we know it's not our email. All right, that's great. So then if we go back to where we were before, in user, I want to find MD5. All right, we've done all of that. Now we're going to email them. So we're going to do email : send, and then em, and then activate your account. Maybe, I don't know, Pixi. Well, for me it's Lost Astronauts, so but activate your account is fine. And then to activate your account, click here, and then it'll be something like a URL endpoint. So for us, again, this is all arbitrary stuff that you're going to have to edit if you get a copy of this from our GitHub. But you're going to want to say something like click here. And then you want to add the key. All right. And that should cover it. So that's going to send them an email with the correct thing. Now you have to make an activator. So what you do is you make a an activate file, and you say post key, or well, you don't have to do that. You just do include core page, right? This isn't a site index. This is not inside model. You do core page, and then you do g equals get post. Then you go like user by activator. So G key, right? So user equals user. So we have to make that in the model. So we have find by email and find by username. Okay. Well, we'll go like this. If false or null, user return null. Right. So null will mean no user. If int val user activation expires, greater than string of time now, return false. So this expire doesn't have to be run all that often. Once a day would be fine. So that gives them a good 24 hours plus a few hours to get in. But if they did happen to get in and it wasn't valid anymore, well, see, that's the thing. Maybe we don't do this part, but we'll leave it there. So if the user exists, all right, backend activator. Just want to check something real quick. Yep. So we've got user. I want to return. Okay, if not false or null user, I don't know if you've ever done this before, but you can write HTML in here. Congratulations, your account has been activated. Use the game client to log in with your password. So you can pretty this up any way you want. It's just HTML in here. You could load this content from a file and echo it out in here if you want. There's actually some infrastructure to do that, or you can do it with just PHP. Otherwise, we want to deal with the other scenario, which is, sorry, your activation key was invalid. Maybe you'd like to sign up again? Maybe sign up again. Please. It's better that you say things like, please sign up again, instead of maybe you'd like to, because then they, maybe I don't. I'm going to another game. I'm not going to play this game. All right, so now we've got an activation key and expiry. I'm feeling pretty good about this. We do need some more work in user. I've also been wondering, are these videos too long? You know, an hour is a long time. We did a lot right there. Should we call it a day? I don't know. I might take a break and come back and finish it up. But what we want to do now, we have activation key. All we have to do now is, maybe I just won't, I'll just tell you what I'm going to do because it's boring. I will take increment history value and I will make a way to set or add a metal. Okay. And I'm going to have metals have a certain JSON format. Then I'm going to make a, so that covers that actually. And then I'm going to do something similar for game settings, except, and then we're going to create actions. So if you follow along with last video, I know it was like 55 minutes, but basically increment history value allows me to quickly read a record from the database. In this case, it happens to be the user, so the record's already read. I just take the history, decode it from its JSON. And by the way, I might have to wrap these with like a B64K decode or something, but for now, JSON is fine because PDO is handling the transfer of data from outside to inside or whatever. So that should be handling most of the SQL injection potential. Anyway, I take this history part, which is JSON, I decode it, I add to the value, or I establish the value, and then I return to the auth database. Metals, on the other hand, unlike history is just numbers that are increasing. Metals are like more like just like tags and things like, oh, you won this medal, you got this award, you got this achievement, that sort of thing. So we're adding them to a list. Now, it's not like Steam Achievements, it's going to be its own thing. It's not going to be. It's probably more similar to like Worms. If you've ever played Worms, it's going to be similar to that game, where you can win all these different awards. And I mean the early versions of Worms, the 2D, those versions is much more fun versions. So, that's going on. So I'm going to add a couple of those in here for a couple of the different things. And then I'm going to set up all the game settings, which are unique to my game anyway. And then we're going to start making actions. So maybe I'll just review what I've done in the next video at the beginning. And then we'll go right into actions, get all the actions wrapped up. And then probably by like Pixitron episode 12, I will have created the Git repo and put it up online and linked it so that everybody can download Pixi.js, as I'm calling it. So thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. I hope you appreciate mine. Please leave a comment. Like this video, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to hear more from Retrofriends. We don't just do Pixitron. We do mailbags and tiny house and other shtick, let's plays, reviews. It's gonna be fun. I even unbox pizza from time to time. So please leave a message after the tone, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Stay friendly.